can take my car, take it way too far. Get lost just because we're finding out who we are. If it gets too dark, we'll follow all the stars. Fly close to the sun and fall back down to where we started. We can take my car, take it way too far. Get lost just because we're finding out who we are. If it gets too dark, we'll follow all the stars. Fly close to the sun and fall back.
I know, you don't have to tell me. I fucking suck. I said 3 times a week, and it was like 3 times in a month. I come in peace. Hello, my fellow beings. Welcome back to Incognito Mode, and I'm excited to be here. I hope you guys are excited that I've uploaded a video. I had a few people message me like, hey, what's going on with your podcast? And I was super happy that like anyone even cared. So yeah, thanks guys. Thank you very much for keeping up with my podcast. This podcast is under the category of Real Spit from the Heart. And this particular title I got from a family friend, Kiki. If you ever see this, your Uncle Keeks, and I got a lot of inspiration from everyone around me to do certain podcasts and even some of the titles. You know, I'm just a product of everyone around me, honestly. Nothing original here. So this one is called Happy Feet. I thought of that name while I was recording. And if you haven't seen that movie, it's kind of cute that that's the name that came to mind as far as movies, because in the movie the little penguin's name is Mumble, and everyone around him is good at singing. Everyone's a good singer, and Mumble can't sing. Or is it Mumble? I think it's Mumble because he can't sing like everyone, and that's how penguins in the movie, probably in real life, find their mates, their soulmates. And so he's just like, what the fuck? But instead of letting that like deteriorate his identity and self-worth, you know, he found he was good at something else, which was dancing, and he could, you know, make music, I guess not with his feet, but he could dance to the music, and he found his own way. You know, he found a solution to his problem. So yeah, I like the title Happy Feet. I didn't think about it until now, but thank you guys for being patient. But yeah, so this topic came pretty easy to me. It's about happiness and just like way of thinking, things like that. So this is gonna be a Real Spit from the Heart video, and I don't know if I have a name for it. Let's just name it Happy Feet. I didn't come up with a name beforehand. I should have. Have you guys seen that movie? It's a cute movie. Yeah. But basically this topic or this podcast is about like just happy thoughts, or our thoughts, the way we think about things. And I have my little notes here, and I watched a few TED Talks and then other research videos. And this is something that I've already kind of known about for years. Once I kind of went crazy, I was like diving into neuroscience topics and things like that, trying to figure out kind of what went wrong with me. And so that's how I learned about chemicals and all that kind of stuff. I'm not like this super intelligent person. I'm just very curious. And I don't like not knowing certain things. So since then, even before that though, even like before, it was a holistic health class, and that's like one of my most memorable classes, because I learned so much from it. But I also wanted to share some things. I wish I had my notebook. I usually keep all of my college notebooks, just if I ever want to go through them. There's some stuff that I found very interesting, and when I was moving out, my mom just threw them all away. Yeah. But yeah, so I want to start by saying thank you guys for listening to my podcast. And I forgot to start I normally say a prayer before I even start a podcast. Um, and then it's been a minute, so I just even didn't do it. But hey, while we're on, you guys can either listen through or you can skip this part. But I want to say thank you, Yahweh, for my day. Thank you for the life that I have, the people that are in my life, friends, family, fur babies, all the pets and animals, and all the good that's happening in our lives, and everything that may not be so good, even if it is downright bad. We thank you for the lessons that will come out of it. Please be with us in everything that we do. In the name of Yeshua Mashiach, Yahweh, Amen. And I hope this podcast reaches someone that it's supposed to, as I've always asked. Amen. Okay. Oh, it's bright. I have a light on. But let's start with how I came about with this subject. Just so you guys understand. I got my nails done. Look. Oh, it's not. They're so cute. They're like little spider webs. And it's a spider. Anyways, I was saying something. What was I saying? Oh yeah, how I came to this topic. I was talking to this person, and I love this person. Like, she's probably one of like the better people on this planet. And she's so beautiful in my eyes, and in a lot of people's eyes. And she's got such a pretty like personality, and like her brain, like you can tell she's like a pretty sweet girl, you know. And I'm not gonna say any names just because it's not fair. But I'm pretty close with her, and I've noticed she has a lot of self, like like she's not nice to herself. And it sucks. And we talked about certain things and certain triggers that she has that I never realized, like I had also before in my life. And I didn't know how. I wish I could have just told her in the moment, but I wanted her to like let it out and let herself vent and like talk to me about what's going on. But then in the end, I tried showing her some videos that I'm sure it was hard for her to pay attention to, because if you're not into that stuff, you're just not into it. But it was more so because the things that were on those videos is what helps me kind of remove myself from my own funks. Like, you guys ever just been in a funk, like you're just like sad and you don't know why, and like you feel like everything bad is happening to you. And if you watch my very, very first video, you can tell like I'm feeling that way when I started the podcast. And I'm just kind of trying something new, something to like make me feel like, you know, I'm doing something cool for me. So yeah, that's kind of the reason why I started this podcast, is like picking each other's brains, getting to know what's underneath it all, you know, what's underneath the physical aspects of who we tend to be or showcase. And I want to start, I guess, by showing this cute little illustration. I like started a note underneath it, but I was like, no, I want to just show this cute little picture. This is like happiness. Have you guys ever wondered what happiness looks like? This is what it looks like. Oh, it's just a little big balloon looking thing with the little thingy, and these are supposed to be feet. And I'm gonna tag the video, but the feet just go. It's literally like walking. It's so cute. But that is what happiness looks like. That's what it looks like being dragged from neuron to neuron. Or that's what it looks like. That's what the happiness molecule looks like. And it's so cute. But the reason that I brought that up is because happiness is just like another chemical that we have in our brain. Chemicals are what alter your brain, and basically what's in your brain eventually comes out to light in your life. There's this one saying I really like. I just thought of it right now. I wish I would have thought of it earlier so I wouldn't have to look it up. But I'm going to look it up. But it says like, it's like your thoughts create something. I forget. Thoughts create your reality. It's like a quote. I don't know who says it, but I don't like taking credit for anything. Like our thoughts create our reality. I know, but there's like an actual saying. Oh, it's a Buddhist. Oh, the mind is everything what you think you become. But there's a different one. Oh, it's by Wayne Dyer. You create your thoughts create your intentions, and your intentions create your reality. That is sick. That is Wayne W. Dyer. I love that quote because it's true. It really is true. And I'm going to show you how or why, or try to explain to you how. I have this like notebook full of notes that I took from. So I don't know why, but for some reason my video stopped recording in the middle of nowhere. You guys heard that song? It's called Middle of Nowhere by Tinashe. It's one of my favorite songs in the whole world. Anyways, so the reason behind it was that I wanted to just talk to people who might be feeling like they're stuck in like this mode or mentality that they can't get out of, because we all go through it and we all deal with that. So don't feel like you're alone in that sense. And there's a science behind happiness, on how it affects our lives and our bodies, and how that quote by about like how your thoughts create, how you create your thoughts create your intentions, and your intentions create your reality. Like, have you heard of people talk about like manifestation? That's basically what it is, and it is proven through a science. A lot of people don't care for this type of science, but I mean, you're living it. Your brain is a part of the study, so you don't have to care about it for it to be true. And yeah, there's another quote. What's the other one? People fear what they do not know. Yeah. I don't know who that is from, but yeah, I want to start with a video that I saw of. It was a TED Talk. Do you guys like TED Talks? I love TED Talks. They're so cool. It's usually like really, because they don't have like a specific, like you have to major in this, or some people just talk about their life experiences, and have you guys seen Jessie Reyes' TED Talk? I really like that one. Um, anyways, but this TED Talk in particular was talking about a study that was done in Harvard. I have all my notes here, so if you see me looking down, there's a reason for it. um, but the study went on for 75 years. It's still ongoing. And currently, the guy that I was watching talk about it in the video, his name is Robert Waldinger, something like that. Waldinger, Waldinger, Robert. His name's Robert. And they had done a study and asked people like what they thought would make them happy, and more than 80% said to get rich, and then about 50% said to be famous. Oh, what it would be like to live the life of the rich and famous. I'm sure we've all thought, I'd be happier if I was wealthier. Well, that's not true. And this study proves that. It was a study of 724 men initially, and it's called the Harvard Study of Adult Development. And it was basically the way they decided to do it was one portion of the people were Harvard graduates who ended up going to World War II as they followed their life. And then the other group was troubled men who lived in like slums, basically. I forgot exactly. I think he said, I don't know what part, but that was the two groups they studied. And he said that what he thought was the most important part of the study, or the outcome that he's seen so far, is that good relationships keep us happier and healthier, period. He literally said period, but not like that. And so that is, I think, is very, very accurate. Just from my own way of living, my experience, I guess. And he said some lessons that he thought could be learned from this experiment so far. Mind you, this is 75 years of following 724 men. So it's not like it's like, oh, they did 10 people. No, they did a good little chunk. Number one, social connections are good for us. We become happier, healthier, and we actually live longer. That's like very good if you're not a lonely person, if you have a lot of people around you, and that you genuinely have connections with. That's awesome. But it's not good, because basically loneliness kills. So that's one of the lessons. He said the isolated people were less happy, and your health starts to decline early in your midlife, and also brain function declines. So that was something that I kind of wanted to keep in mind, is that your brain function declines. Like, keep that in mind when you're like lonely. He said 1 in 5 Americans will report that they're lonely. And he also wanted to know that he said the quality of close relationships was important. So have you guys ever been like in a room full of people, you might love them and everything, you still feel lonely? Because I've had that. I have like different friend groups that sometimes I hang out here, over there, whatever. So I always have like a circle that I can like lean on or can depend on, basically. But there are times when I'm just like, it could be in a room full of people and I'm just like in my own world, and it still feels lonely. I'm sure I'm not the only person. And if I am, well then, oh my god, bitch, I'm unique. Nah. I know I'm not the only person that has felt that. And he said the men that were most satisfied in their marriage had good health. Like, that's awesome. So he also wanted to know good relationships protect your brain. Do you want me to say that again? For the people in the back. Good relationships shape your brain and protect it differently than bad ones. I mean, I think no one needs to be a neurologist or whatever they're called. I hope that doesn't sound disgusting. Oh, this is so old. The ice melted and everything. It's from earlier today. I never finished my iced coffees. That one is, what is it? Brown sugar oat milk espresso. Some shit like that. It's bomb. But yeah. And the people that had good relationships, their memories were sharper, longer. Like, that's awesome. He also wanted to know to not hold grudges, because holding on to grudges can deplete like your life. Holding on to that like negativity. He noted the people that were less happier, which people that hold grudges and are vindictive and, you know, those kind of thoughts are not happier people. They don't tend to be happier people because they're holding on to that negative stuff. So keep that in mind, you know, when you're starting to feel that petty bone come out, kick it to the curb, because it's not going to do you any good to hold on to like that train of thought, those types of thoughts. What else? I think that was that for that video. Yeah, that for that particular video, that's what he really emphasized on was, well, I wrote it down. Good relationships keep us happier and healthier. Period. It literally says that. I underlined period because he said that, but he said it in a more like period tone. So, I mean, I think that is real. That's legit. Like, this particular friend, and I hope she doesn't get mad if she even watches this. Whenever we talk, we tend to talk about like life, you know? And I like talking to her because I want to get to know where her mind is at. And I'm like, all right, friend, like, you're good. But then if I can tell she's not good, I'm like, all right, friend, let me talk some sense into you, because I care, because I like give a fuck. It's not a surface level relationship where I'm like, hey girl, like, I'm just gonna come over and we're just gonna have like talk about something stupid that we don't really give a fuck about. Like, I don't like having conversations like that with people. If we talk about anything, it normally like tends to be meaningful. Or if we're having like a good time, then we're having a good time. But like if we're talking about something, like I hope it's a meaningful conversation either for me or for you. You know, I don't care for surface level relationships, whether that's in my man or friendships. Like, if it ain't deep, skedaddle. Like, I probably won't kick it with you. I mean, I will, but it's just different. I'm pretty sure you guys understand what I'm trying to say. I watched another video, and I'll put the links of these videos. I tried to like them as I was watching them so that I can go back to them. but it was how your thoughts can actually affect brain function. So just keep that in mind, that the study prior to is people with better relationships had healthier lives, or were happier, tended to have happier lives. But here's how your thoughts can affect you in a chemical way. Because again, that quote is you are your thoughts become your intentions become your reality. It's like a like it's like a domino effect, one thing leads to another. So if you are thinking positive thoughts, you release a dopamine chemical. This gives feelings of peace and contentment. It redirects blood flow from the prefrontal area, which activates problem solving, conflict resolution. It also is the portion of your brain that has that allows you to have compassion and empathy and like all that good stuff, I'm sure, like forgiveness, all that, the good things. And the negative, I thought this was interesting. The negative, what it does to your brain. So again, your feelings, they are brain chemistry. Like feelings are chemicals. It's chemistry in your brain. I'm sure that's, look it up if you don't get it, but it's not that difficult to understand. So negative thinking triggers the chemical called cortisol, which is one of the fight or flight chemicals. I think adrenaline is one of the other ones that can create that fight or flight instinct. So it says, on my notes from the video, and the doctor that says all of this, she's a professor. What's her name? What's your name, lady? I'm trying to find her name. I'm pretty sure I wrote it down. I just don't. Oh, her name was Alison Ledgerwood. She is a psychology professor at UC Davis. But oh, this is from a different video. My bad. But anyways, this video was talking about the things that your thoughts can trigger. So dopamine and cortisol are chemicals that are triggered by your thoughts. So if you're telling yourself like, fuck, I'm not shit, dude, like I fucking suck at life, which I'm so guilty. I say that all the time in a joking way. Like, oh, I fucking suck at life when I do something wrong. But even me saying that is not good. Because even though I think I'm joking, like obviously my ears can hear what I'm saying, it'll go to my brain, and then my brain will have a reaction to what I'm saying, even if I think it's a joke. At my church growing up, our pastor used to say, words have meaning. All words have meaning. So like everything you say has a meaning. And so that's something that I have to like check myself about sometimes. Like, okay, don't say that. Or I'm so bad. I cuss all the time. I don't think there's been a day since I was like 12 that I haven't cussed. I know I should work on that. But that kind of stuff, like words have meaning. I've always been told that at church as a little kid. So now to be told by science that what I was being told by my religion is legit, I'm like, oh shiznit. There's no way to like get away from that ideal. Like your words have meaning. Your words are very powerful. That's what manifestation is basically. What you say can happen. So cortisol is the chemical that your negative thoughts trigger. And he brought up like having a different experience based on the way you think. So cortisol shuts down the cognitive parts of our brain, which in another video I explain how cognitive thoughts are us being able to assess the things we do and kind of like determine right or wrong. That's what separates us from animals, is having cognitive thoughts. I'm sure some animals have it too, but not to our capability, not to the same extent that we're capable of understanding. So the prefrontal cortex is in charge of thinking, logic, problem solving, empathy, compassion, and forgiveness. When you think negative thoughts, you're shutting that part of your brain down. When you're thinking positive thoughts, you're heightening that part of your brain. So are you catching what I'm throwing? If you think bad thoughts, you tend to be less compassionate, less empathetic, forgive less, can't solve a lot of your problems because you're stuck. You shut it down. You shut down the part of your brain that knows how to problem solve. So by you thinking a negative thought, you're literally stifling yourself. Like you are your worst enemy. Have you guys heard that expression? It's true. For real, it is true. So try to think of this little dude. We want this guy. We want him to bloom in our brains. We want that little balloon to like, be happy and getting to where he's supposed to be, to help us think clear and be happier with our lives. And I'm sure that's the part of the brain that, if it gets worn down enough, it starts to affect other parts of your brain. I'm guessing. I don't actually know that portion. I'm just, based on what they're saying, it seems to be the brain functions the same, either positively or negatively. Okay, now this is the Alison Ledgerwood experiment. She talks about. It says, if your mind is dwelling on negative, then your outlook and perspective is also changed. Yeah, basically. She did a test, and they were checking the brain. They were have you guys ever had is it called a CAT scan? When they check like your brain activity. So they hooked up people to these things, the receptors that'll let them measure the brain wavelengths, I guess. And you can see it. It has like different colors and like it's cool. If you guys have never looked at those, I would. It's pretty neat. And that's how they can also see like how drugs affect the brain, stuff like that. It's super cool. And so they talked about like seeing the cup half full or half empty, the glass half full or half empty. And that's something we all have heard of. And so they were checking these people and telling them it's the same information. So they told half of the people that this medicine or something that it was like just for the testing of the people, was 70% successful. They told one half it's 70% successful. And they told the other half it's 30%. There's a 30% chance it will fail. A failure. 30% chance of failure. The statistics of that is the exact same. 70% success is the same as 30% failure, because 100% of the total is all it can be out of a percentage. So if 70 is passing, the other 30 is not. If 30 is not passing, that means the other 70 did succeed. So the 70% success would be the half full outlook that they told these people. And their brains were happy. Their brains were like, oh, yay, da 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 da. The brain activity was positive. The 30% sad. They were like, oh no. It's the same. It's literally the same math. It's the exact same. But these people's outlooks is how their brain reacted. So what I took away from that experiment is like, whatever the situation is, try to look at the positive. I know there's like this fake happy, like, don't pretend to be happy if you're not. Da, da, da. Fake it till you make it. Like, even if you're sad, think of a positive thing to negate that sad thought and switch your outlook. Because, as the other presentation said, your cortisol, which is a negative thought triggered chemical, will shut down your logic. So even if there is a solution to your problem, your brain won't allow you to see it. Do you catch like what I'm just saying? If you're thinking in a negative state, you're stuck. You're literally stuck. But if you think a positive thought, it was dopamine or serotonin? Let me double check. Yeah, it was dopamine. That dopamine level goes into that cortex area of your prefrontal lobe area. Like, which is the same exact area, but instead of getting it stuck, it'll help you process and think and to help you problem solve. So literally your outlook and your perspective and how you choose, because at this point you have to choose a positive thought over a negative thought, will shape the outcome of the same problem, same situation. 70% success, 30% failure. Same exact thing. Only difference is how it was presented. It was presented in a positive light. The brain was like, wee. It was presented in a negative light. The brain was like, mark. So then they told the people of the 70% rate that 30% chance of it failing. Their brain went straight into a negative thoughts, like sad. They told the 30% failure people, but wait, there's a 70% chance it will be successful. But they were already stuck in that negative mind frame that their brain chemistry didn't change. So we tend to focus on the negative, even if there is a positive. So you literally have to tell your brain to focus on the positive, because it won't naturally react, even if you give it positive information at the same time. You have to force yourself to look at a positive outcome. Like, you have to tell yourself a positive thing to get rid of the negative. I hope I don't sound crazy. But what this psychology professor at UC Davis said, her name's Alison Ledgerwood, is put in effort into looking at the bright side. She literally says you have to put in the effort. And she said something that helps her is spending time thinking of things to be grateful for. This is something I always post about, like gratitude, what I'm grateful for. Like, probably post 20,000 things on my story. It's either something stupid like Aquarius, because I'm obsessed with my sign, my zodiac sign. Or it's like some lesson thing, trying to teach you a lesson that I found. Or it's me posting about things that make me happy. So like when I'm on vacations, my animals, my friends, my family, my husband, food. like my nails, get my nails done, get my hair done, things like that make me happy. And so if you ever see my stories on Instagram, like on my personal page, and you're annoyed by me, my bad, you can mute it, but yeah, that stuff brings me happiness. So I don't share it to push this, like, oh my god, perfect life, da-da-da. No, it's like, this stuff makes me happy. So I post it. And before I end this, I wanted to share with you guys some of the happiness hormones that are talked about in another video. I watched a few videos. And a lot of this stuff is stuff I already knew. I just need to like watch something to get the names of certain chemicals and stuff down, and to be exact. I don't want to just talk out of my ass. My flat ass. I'm just kidding. I have a fat booty because positive self-talk. Ew. Oh, because it's green. I have a green screen behind me. That's why you can see the background. But yeah, happiness hormones are serotonin, endorphins, oxytocin, and dopamine. And if you're struggling and you got like depression, all this other chemical imbalances in our brain, I struggle with a lot of stuff too. I will be honest and I will say I don't take any medication for it. So there are days where, yeah, I am stuck in my funk because I just chose not to take any medication. For me, it makes me, I guess I never found the right concoction, but I just prefer not to. I'm lucky enough to, I guess, not need it as much as the doctors thought I was going to my whole entire life. But here's a few things that I think are important to know. And serotonin is the feel-good hormone. It contributes to emotional well-being, healthy. I just burped. I'm so sorry. Let's go back. That was like not even welcomed. Okay. Happiness hormones. Serotonin. It's the feel-good hormone. Contributes to emotional well-being and a healthy sleep cycle. It keeps your mood stable. Oh, that's where the bipolar comes from. It's currently 11:52. I'm not tired at all. Coffee probably doesn't help, but I was doing homework before this. I have a horrible sleep cycle, so I have to replace my serotonin with other things because insomnia has been kicking my ass since I was in kindergarten. My first day of preschool, it was even before that. My first day of preschool, I woke up at 3 a.m. and I was ready to go by 4 o'clock. And my mom woke up in the middle of the night to use the restroom. And I scared the shit out of her because there's this little kid with her backpack and school uniform on to go to preschool. Who do I have? Miss Travis at San Cayetano. And I was just like, ready to go. It's still pitch black outside, little girl. Probably scared. Yeah, I did scare the shit out of her. She doesn't let me forget that. But I've always had insomnia, so there's ways to replace that. I'll read you some of the things that video suggests after. I just want you guys to get acquainted with these happy hormones. Oxytocin is the love hormone. It plays a part in social bonding, trust, relaxation, and it's basically like the cuddle, like endorphin, is what the video said. Yeah, so that's the love hormone, oxytocin. Lack of oxytocin will create lack of empathy, which is also another one. And being lonely will create difficulty building close relationships. So if you are lacking in the love hormone, you tend to start being, just less trusting of the people around you. Or maybe like that's probably where, have you guys ever heard of like sabotaging, like self-sabotage relationships? If that oxytocin has been lacking, you're like already used to like, oh no, he doesn't love me. Even if a guy tells you I love you, you're like, no, you don't. It's like that, like self-sabotage. Because you lack trust in bonds, whether that's friends, family, or relationships, like love connections. Now endorphins, those are natural pain relievers. They create a sense of well-being, both mentally and physically. So in that one video, the very first one where I talk about that Harvard adult study, the development of adults, he mentioned a story of the older people got, of course you have pains, like the 70-year-olds. The ones that were happy said they had less pains, even though it was the same like illnesses. I'm sure probably arthritis was one of them. He doesn't get into detail, but he just says the ages. So the men that were in their 70s and in happy marriages tended to have less pain and still felt more fulfilled, versus the men that also had the same illnesses but were in unhappy relationships. They had more pains, physical pains. And in this video of the happy hormones, it says that endorphins create natural pain relievers. So, I mean, that's something to take into account. Even though it's just a chemical, it can still affect you it will affect you physically in your body, even though it starts in your brain. Just think of like the body is like a computer, and the computer part where everything's stored is like here. It's the brain. But like your head is like the desktop, and your mouth is like the typewriter, and your hands are like the mouse. Yeah, they all are a part of the body of a computer, but without the actual source, like the box where the memory and everything's stored, none of the rest doesn't function, because that's the computer. That's the discs are in. I don't even know what's inside a computer, but like the computer is the brain. The brain is like a computer, so that's what tells the rest of your body how to work. So you take care of this. Take care of your brain. It also said that people that lack endorphins are more susceptible to fatigue, pain, stress, and sadness. Maybe I'm missing endorphins. I feel lazy a lot. Also, my weight probably doesn't help. Dopamine, that's the reward. Dopamine. I have a love-hate relationship with dopamine. I think that's my struggle happy hormone. It's a reward. It's your motivation hormone. It creates focus, motivation, engagement in tasks, and helps you feel fulfilled. This is why I think I struggle with dopamine. I haven't even busted out my Incognito Mode podcast classes. Let me take these bad boys out. I like these ones better. These are my fave. I need to get a new pair. I had like freaking 5 pairs of those. How do you pronounce that? Key? I think it's pronounced key. And slowly, one by one, I've just been losing them. And I'm down to like 1 pair. And then my regular glasses to read. And then Justin's sister gave me these cutesy ones. These are Marc Jacobs. But, so I'm down to like 2. But I had a bunch. Anyways, dopamine. I saw my friend. See, my struggle with dopamine is I like to look forward to things. And so I build up all this excitement. Like, oh my God, I'm so excited. And I'm like this little kid, like jittery, you know? But then the thing happens. And in the moment, I'm still excited. I'm super happy. Like, oh my God, it's happening. I love that saying from The Office. It's happening. I love that. And then once the thing is over and it already happened, I'm like, meh. What do I look forward to now? It's so annoying. That's how I am with vacations. And I'm like, I want another vacation. That was not enough. And that's my problem with a lot of things in life. It's dopamine based. I want the reward more than I want to enjoy the journey of it, of getting there. I don't feel fulfilled by what it takes to get the dopamine. I just want the dopamine. Like, I just want the thing. I just want the reward. I don't appreciate the lead up to the reward. Whatever leads up to. I don't appreciate that. So then I tend to feel less fulfilled after I get a reward because I'm like, wah, what now? Wah, 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 you know? So that's my issue. And that's why sometimes I lack motivation. But here are some things that will help. And I'll start with dopamine, just because that's my problem. The number one thing that can help is exercise. Oh my God, you guys, I started exercising. I swear I was about to be skinty queen. I lost like 10 pounds in like a week and 2 days. And I stopped going because, again, I got a little bit of the reward. My jeans were fitting that hadn't fit in a while. I dropped like a size. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm feeling myself. And then I felt myself get fatter after like a month of not going. So, but exercise does help. I did find myself more like, oh my God, you know. Eating foods with tyrosine. I don't know if I spelled that right. But lean meats, fish, eggs, and dairy products. So that's number 2. Stuff you eat can help with your dopamine levels. Number 3, it said break tasks into smaller goals and celebrate them. So before, if I had like a bad day in school, I'd be like, fuck this, like I'm never gonna graduate, I'm such a loser. Now I'm like, okay, it's like, and Justin's helped me with the way thinking this way. He'll be like, it's okay, babe, like you had a bad assignment or I missed a deadline because I am not always on task. So I'll be like, it's okay, like your grade overall is still good, but I'll beat myself up over that one thing and then correlate it to like never succeeding in school. And so I like drag myself down and I get in this stick mode where I don't even want to try anymore. And so it's like either all or nothing. And I need to, that is something I need to change. So this is legit. I've been celebrating more like, babe, like I got 100 on this. And we'll go and do something. Or he'll be be like, oh, good, that helps. Number 4, engage in pleasurable activities, like listening to music, going to dance, painting, reading, etc. Whatever floats your boat. Some people love like planting or gardening. Sorry. I like to write. I like to read, or I like to listen to. I love music. Those things create like happy. I like to paint. I painted this. Things like that. So those are 4 things that you can do to increase your dopamine levels. Your endorphins. Exercise for at least 30 minutes every day. Exercise is like a big one on most of them. Exercise also, it said exercise also helps regulate your serotonin levels. So that's good. Number 2, for your endorphins, laughter and positivity. Watching funny videos, like laughing with your friends or family, watching comedy shows or a funny movie, that will help increase your endorphins. Dark chocolate can also boost your endorphins, and that they said to make sure it was at least 70% of cocoa in the chocolate. So that's an easy one. Dark chocolate. And deep breathing. Number 4 was deep breathing and mindfulness meditation. I struggle with meditation just because of the way like my brain is a little bit. I bought this book and I thought it was going to help me with that, but it hasn't yet. But I think I need to try harder. Serotonin levels. This right here. Sunlight increases serotonin. I can't tell you how many times I'm having like a bad or stressful day. I will go outside and I will lay on the grass, or I'll hug a tree. Look up I'll talk about that another time. Them tree huggers, they know what they're talking about. They know what they're doing. And just like letting the sun hit me, like it changes a lot of my mood. I don't know how to explain that. I guess I'll talk about it a little bit. There was a study. It was a guy who I think he had like back pain. And I don't know what possessed him to do this. I'll have to look up the video. But he put a little wire, like with iron or something that will help run like energy. And he put the wire under his back. Under his body, under his back. And then he connected it to the ground outside through his window. And he would wake up feeling energized. And like he had no pain. It went away. And so they did a study. I think it was in San Diego. They ended up he convinced a professor to do a study, and it was like legit. They were like, what the heck? And so he wasn't taking medication anymore. It's called grounding. I think it's what it's called. But they say, like if you walk barefoot and stuff like that, it'll also increase certain energy levels. I don't know. But even hugging your dog, it was like one said, when you take your dogs out for a walk, it fills them up with positive energy because they are directly connected to the earth. And so when you hug them, you take some of that. And it's weird. But it was cool. I wonder if I'll try and find that video. But anyways, sunlight increases serotonin. Foods high in tryptophyte. I don't know if I. Anyways, it would be like nuts, seeds, poultry, fish. So that kind of food can increase your serotonin levels. Number 3, it's again, practice gratitude. I'm telling you guys, like, my life is not perfect, but it doesn't matter. I'll still be happy. I'll find a reason to be happy because I am just not trying to dwell on any kind of negativity. And I think that works. Getting enough sleep. Well, this is why I have to lay on the ground because I don't get enough sleep. So that's serotonin. At least 7 to 9 hours of relaxing bedtime. Oh, it said create a relaxing bedtime routine, but you need to get at least 7 to 9 hours straight. I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting like 3, 4. It's not something to be proud of. I need to fix that. Physical touch. Okay, this is for the oxytocin. So this is that one that's like the love one. It doesn't have to be from a man or a woman, whatever sex, gender you're attracted to. It can be from a friend. Like, all it needs to be is physical touch. A hug, holding hands. You could cuddle, but like, just physical touch. I don't know. Maybe like a high five. But that's the number one thing to help increase your oxytocin levels. Physical touch. 2, quality time. This is what I'm talking about. Quality time. Building meaningful bonds. That will increase your oxytocin levels. So that one friend you haven't talked to in a minute, hit them up. A family member that seems to be a little lonely, call them. That person that you had like a little beef with, text them, resolve it. Don't lose a meaningful bond over something stupid. That was a face from me to me. 3, acts of kindness. I love this one. There a lot of people will be like, don't give homeless people money because they're just gonna spend it on drugs. Girl, that's not my business. My business is, if I have $2, I'm going to give this man $2. I'm going to say, God bless you, because they say it to me, and that makes me feel good. I'm not going to lie. It's an exchange of blessings. And I'm going to say, look, God, whatever it is, I hope he uses it for good. I usually hope I give him $3, get a drink, and something from McDonald's to eat for the night. That's what I'm hoping for. Some water. It's free. But, you never know. But that makes me feel good just to think, like, he could use it for something he needs. Whether he does or not, that's not my problem. That's not my responsibility. God, I did what I could because I'm not about to take this person to my house. I've done that before, and it's not a good idea. I was a little crazy. So acts of kindness. Even telling someone you look pretty, or, like, you're so sweet, or hey, like, do you need help with groceries? Like, if you see an older person crossing the street, helping them cross the street, or just uplifting someone. Acts of kindness, like, that will increase your oxytocin levels. So you don't need a man, you just need to be kind. Number 4, I love how this is what I'm going to end on. Bonding with pets. Bitch, get you a fish. Your apartment won't let you have a dog or a cat. Get you a beta. But take care of that beta like it's a baby. Because it's going to give you oxytocin. Like a bird, or I don't know. But bonding with pets will create that same oxytocin level that having a freaking man would. That's funny. Or cuddling with a man. I don't know. Having a man. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my literal happy podcast. And I hope you found some helpful tips to increase all of your happy hormones. And there was 2 studies that were done. And those are just 2 of so many. I look them up all the time, and I'm just like amazed. Because I just think it's so cool. But, I hope that you guys are having a beautiful day. Thank you for listening to my Incognito Mode podcast. And I hope I didn't just rant and go on and on and on. And if you found it boring, I'm sorry. But I hope that this podcast does find someone who needs to hear it. And remember that your neurons are telling your whole body what to do. So if you're going to tell your brain you're ugly, you're disgusting, you're not good enough, you're incapable. I've said that to myself. I'm incapable. You're not worthy. These horrible things. Or like, what do you stand for? Like, don't say that to yourself, because girl, boy, man, woman, like, give yourself that chance to find a solution to your problem. Give yourself some dopamine. Tell yourself I'm dope. And not that cortisol. Because that's going to shut down your problem solving skills. Your brain is going to believe what you're saying. And you're going to be the reason you can't get out of your funk. So, with that, I thank you guys for your time. Sorry it took forever to get another potty out podcast. And this is straight from the heart. This is what I wanted to talk about, what came over me to talk about on my podcast. And I actually love this topic. So thank you guys again. Think good thoughts. Be good and you'll be good. And I have a question to myself for you guys. Oh yeah, if you can write down in the comments what makes you happy, or what do you think you could do to be happier, or just like giving someone some uplifting advice. If you can, give yourself some props in the comments. I would love that if everyone could just say one good thing about themselves. I would love that. That'd be great. Yeah, say something good about yourself. But thank you for your time again. Thank you for listening to Incognito Mode. We are back at it. I'm gonna try to do better. But thank you for everything. Have a wonderful night. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace. We have an important announcement. So I will be using my friend Alejandro's music for my videos this week. And this is one of my favorite songs of his, just because it's so fun. It's a really fun song. It is called We Own the Night by Alejandro with the 3, not an E. Get it right. From Fillmore, California. And it's this one part is why I picked it for this podcast topic. Because it's just like explains it very well. Kind of like let go of your troubles. It's neat. But I'm gonna play it for you guys. Usually I do like a end credits and put in like a link of a very important thing, but this was a lighter topic because it's about happiness. So let's increase our serotonin levels. Listen up, look up the video. It'll make you even happier because it's so much fun. Also keep in mind, these are like my prescription and protects against blue light. It is 3:12. Don't say I don't love you guys.
I know it's dark at first, just let go of your trouble. It's another level, so be careful, let it settle. Drink, yeah, drink it fast. The anger's gone, the worst is past, so enter. You're here to stay forever, ever, ever. We are the night. We are the night. We Wheels in the